trying to get the oil pan off down here, and it looks like I've taken off the transmission shield. As you can see, all the 10mm bolts are around there and it's still not coming off. So I'm going to have to remove the exhaust manifold from the top here, and then I think it'll drop down and I can get the oil pan off. I've done some work on this car before, so the exhaust manifold is a little easier to remove than it would be if I hadn't. Okay, so got the oil pan off here, and looking at the gasket, it definitely has seen better days. This thing has seen better days for sure. I'm going to go ahead and pull this gasket off and then check that one and just make sure all the lines, holes match up, and we'll go from there. Alright, so this thing's shot, dude. This gasket is just super on here, and it's hard as a rock. Like, it comes off in little strips like this. So what I think I'm going to do is go get a razor blade and try to cut it off that way, because I'm not able to pull it with those pliers, and that screwdriver isn't even able to get it. I've never actually had one that was on here like this, but I'll get it. It's just going to take some time. Okay, so if you've never used one of these oil pan gaskets before, they're pretty badass. You're gonna have these pegs that actually screw up into your block, and it guides everything, the gasket and everything, up together. That way you don't have any pinches in the gasket itself. It fits absolutely perfect too. And you can reuse these if you have to remove this again. So they're definitely worth the money. Alright, so then it comes with this gray RTV silicone for everybody in the comments to roast you because you didn't use Honda Bond. But guess what? I'm using the Felpro gray RTV silicone. And they want you to put that on the where the oil pump comes together on the block, and also where the rear main seal holder comes together on the block. So you just put a little dab here, a little dab back here, over there, in the same places. You'll see where it comes together. The gasket is all on. I'll show you guys that if you can see it down here. We're losing daylight for sure. And yeah, you can kind of see it there, but it is, I mean, that thing gets lined up perfectly. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're worth the money. So these, I'll put on the screen what the torque spec is for these, and also there's a sequence for these too. And make sure you don't over tighten them, because they are just 10s. They'll snap right off. I had to remove this whole plate too, and I got it all back on as well. I had to bring down the exhaust here, and I got that put all back up as well. So now all I got to do is add the oil and bleed the coolant system. And as long as that all goes really well, should be a wrap. Okay guys, so got everything put back together. Bleeding the coolant system. It's running perfect. No weird noises. Timing belt seems tight. definitely in time. I'm really happy that's done because that was the biggest maintenance item that Olivia's car needed before she turned 16 and can drive. I think the CR-V is like a perfect first car for her because it's all-wheel drive, so we don't have to worry about weather. It's not a car, it's lifted up a little bit. She doesn't have to worry about other cars as much. I mean, I know it's a small SUV, but it's better than like a Geo Metro or something. I think my sister got like some sort of really small Hyundai for her first car, and a Mirage, I think. Yeah, Mirage. Anyway, that thing was little, and I would be scared to put Olivia in something like that. But it all worked out for my sister anyway. I'm gonna tackle one more issue that I have with this CR-V before I basically kind of wrap this thing up. And that is a water leak that is very common on these. Very, very common apparently. And it is in the floorboard right here. If you can see, it's wet. And we got to figure out where that's coming from. So basically I just doused the top of the car up here in water, and it leaks pretty bad. Lucky for me, this is a big issue with these things, and there's people fixing this all over the internet. So what I'm gonna do is pull this cowl off right here that goes over the top and like covers the fresh air vent and things like that. And I'm gonna check and see if I can see any debris like this, which this thing sat in the salvage yard for 10, I don't know, probably around 10 years. So to think that there's no debris in here is crazy. I know there's debris in here. I'm gonna take this off, check the fresh air, see if it looks like it's clogged up or if the channeling is overflowing into the fresh air, and we'll find out together what's going on here. So going through and removing these clips, they're all breaking, and I was pretty sure they were because they're super brittle. I mean, they're like really hard, and the tops just kind of break off of them. I'll show you what kind of, I'm using a pick tool to get the tops of them out, and they just immediately, yeah, see, it just immediately breaks like that. It doesn't let me pull up the actual piece that needs to be pulled up. So these are a struggle, but all right, got the cowl off, and looking here, yeah, see, if there's anything like that in this channel here, it will cause it to overflow into the box down there, which if you watch the EK video on that thing, you'll know that those get pretty dirty down there. But also, looks like there's like a rat's nest or something right there. I'm gonna go ahead and suck all this out. Maybe I'll come up with a way to cover this box up. I've seen a couple people use the license plate method where they bend a license plate over the top of it, so that way if this does overflow, it hits the license plate and goes down into the drainage area. We'll see what happens. Okay, got that all cleaned out and got the cowl back on. I don't have these push pins back in because I want to check it beforehand, but the only thing I'm worried about is it might leak through these and make it seem like it didn't work when it did. But we'll see what happens. If it does, if it still leaks, then I'm definitely going to fill these before I feel like it didn't work, what I just did. Looks like we still have a pretty slow drip coming out of the box right there. But I mean, when you put water on it like that, man, it's like a torrential downpour. basically. So I think I am gonna do the license plate over the airbox thing, because it definitely is still coming from there, and I think that that's time well spent to do that. I just want to see if I can show you guys what happens and how this works underneath here. So basically the water comes down and runs that channel and then goes down into there and then drains out. There's a hole right there, and that's how it works on most Golden Era stuff. They all have this channel, and when that channel gets clogged up, it overflows over the top, and then that's your fresh air vent right there. But the design is not that great, because when it rains a lot, it starts to overflow anyway, which causes drips into the box. Especially since that channel takes all the water from the whole windshield and funnels it to either side. So anyways, that's why it fails. I'm going to go ahead and do the license plate trick, or the metal trick, where you basically make it have kind of a dome over the top of the fresh air. So no matter how full that gets, it hits that and falls down into the drainage. I put a license plate on there and drill the hole, and basically now if it overflows, it hits the license plate, goes down into the drainage tube. I'll use some RTV on this to make sure that no water leaks through that hole that I just made. That should work good. I'm going to put some water on it and see what it looks like. Still have a really small drip, which is kind of crazy, but it's definitely coming from that heater blower motor box still. But that could certainly be this little screw hole. So I'll put some RTV on that, let it set up a little bit, and then test it again. Got some RTV on there. I'm confident that that was the issue, given how slow it was and how much water I was putting on it. And I could see the water going right into that hole, so I'm pretty sure that's where the water was coming from. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this back together. The RTV takes 24 hours to dry, so not something that I can test right now, but I'll keep you posted. If you guys have never bought one of these kits from Harbor Freight, man, I recommend it, because they come in handy quite often, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here. There's probably not going to be a whole lot of CRV content on this channel, just because I don't really do a whole lot with CRVs, and this was more of just a one-off thing with doing some maintenance. And I know that a lot of people do not do maintenance, but the timing belt and water pump is very important. So if I were you, I'd do it, so you don't break that thing and bend some valves. Anyway, if you guys like what you see, go ahead and give a like, give me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about the CRV being a first car. Do you think there's an older Honda that would have been a better choice? I don't know, maybe. I can't think of one. But anyways, guys, keep chasing those builds, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.